So how do we design a smart charge system? Okay, so now before we deep into that, I am Chakaselu. Now welcome you to my Green Labs project. So in hydroponics, we grow plants without soil. So in order to maximize growth and efficiency, we are gonna add sensors to our project, and the sensors will help us to monitor um, the sensors will help us to monitor growth and water content quality by making sure that we constantly check the pH, we check the temperature and the TDS value of our grow content. So now this is my input sensors. This is my sensors which act as inputs to my Arduino, as well as this dip switch. For my outputs, I have my ESP and my relay channel. My ESP will be connected to ThinkSpeak, and my relay channel connects the grow light, the water pump, this TDS sensor, and the 12 volts battery. Okay, so now this one represents the logical step-by-step process of which my program will take to execute different tasks. And this is my PCB, and this is my schematic. So from this schematic, I was able to design this PCB. So from my schematic, you can see that my TDS meter, my NTC temperature sensor, my pH sensor, all connected to the analog pins. This DHT11 is connected to the digital pins. I also have my ESP module connected to my schematic as well. And here are my relay modules, and here's my switch, inputs for my grow light, input for my water pump, input for my battery. So basically this design offers more advantages than disadvantages, as using sensors for monitoring makes it even better, as efficiency and production are improved, which saves more capital. Okay, so now on my digital pins, I have my dip switch and my DHT11. So if I want to, so now to measure the temperature and humidity of my surrounding environment, I have this digital humidity and temperature sensor, which uses a humidity sensor and thermistor to measure the surrounding air, and then spits that digital output as a signal to the digital pin of that very sensor, and then feed that to the Arduino, and then from the Arduino to serial monitor and ThinkSpeak. And as you can see on my serial monitor, I'm reading a temperature of 29 degrees and a humidity of 30. And I also have a dip switch, which is this one, and I'm only using these two pins. And when read, it gives a digital 1 or 0 depending on whether you switched it on or off. And this dip switch is actually in control of these two relays, which are in control of this LED grow light and this water pump. And now moving to my analog pins of my Arduino, which are these ones. I have the NTC sensor, which is this one over here, which I'll be using to measure the temperature on my water. Now therefore this sensor uses a thermistor as a sensoring element sintered in order to display large changes in the resistance in proportion to small changes in temperature. And also on my analog pins, I also have my analog pH meter, which is this one, which I'll use to measure the temperature in my system. And here is it probe. Okay, so now what this sensor does is that its analog response is based on the small changes it senses on my water content, whether the pH of my water content is low, medium, or high. So in this regard, the pH is medium, as it's only tap water, which has a pH of around 6.5 to 7.5, like it shows on my serial monitor and ThinkSpeak. As you can see that it's also displaying displaying these values on ThinkSpeak. So now coming back to the code, I also have a my TDS meter, which is this one, and here is this probe. Put it inside this other container over here. So what happens is that this sensor measures the nutrient quantity in my water in a way that its analog response is based on how many milligrams of soluble solids dissolve in water. And for this, I'm just only using temperature, which has a ppm of around 50 to 320. I'm just gonna add hot water inside this extra container. This is me adding hot water, and then take my NTC temperature sensor out of its initial container and put it inside of this new container. And then with me I have Domestos, which has got a pH of around 11.5, and then I'm just gonna place it here, and then take my pH probe and then put it inside of this new container. And then the other thing is with the temperature sensor, I'm just gonna take this hot soldering iron, and then I'm just gonna put it just in front of my DHT11 sensor and wait. Okay, so the other thing that I have to do in order for for us to get good values. And then okay, so now that you can see on the ThinkSpeak my pH has risen up, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take it back to tap water, take it out of this, and then put it over here. And if you can also have a look, my NTC temperature has also increased to 32. So now we're just waiting for the DHT11 and its humidity to update. And in the meantime, in order for my TDS to work, unfortunately I have to take this thing and then put it inside of my mouth, if you'll excuse me please. So I'm just gonna do it and then wait. My DHT has just updated, and we're now just gonna have to wait for the TDS to do so too. So now that my TDS is now starting to pick up, and the last part I'll be showing you what happens if I to control my release, I use these two pins, my relay and my water pump. In a moment they will start to, okay, now there. In the meantime, it's also loading water inside my my two tanks.